Look at that face. I'd like to talk to you about James Comey. He's in some trouble right now for some very threatening seashells he arranged. But I love when James Comey is in the news. First of all, I can see him from my house. He looks great, but he's a very tall man. So the thing about James Comey, I feel like James Comey. I think his role in the last decade of American history is like supremely funny. I kind of feel like he's like if the cow that kicked over a lantern and started the Great Chicago Fire was like actually trying really hard not to start a fire. Because unlike most Americans, watched Showtime original miniseries event The Comey Rule in 2017. Was it 2017, 2019? It's a 3 hour long movie starring the guy from the newsroom, the mean guy from the Jeff Daniels. And Jeff Daniels is Comey, but he's not nearly tall enough to play Comey. But, like, I mean, James Comey looks like a Pez dispenser. Like, you can't, Jeff Daniels looks like a man. But the Comey rule, so it's two parts. The first part is James Comey is like, oh, the Russia and the emails, and he's making this decision about he's got to make a statement about this. Do you remember this? He decided to make a statement about Hillary's emails, but he didn't make a statement about Russia. And so the movie is very on Comey's side. It doesn't imply anything nefarious on his part or any bad will. He seems to be trying to do what's right, which is what's so amazing. There is a scene after the 2016 election where he goes home and his wife and daughter will not speak to him. Which I hope is true. I hope that's true. That's so fun. And that's the thing. Is like he's like everything he does is like whoops. Second part of the Comey rule. Now Donald Trump is president, and Donald Trump has James Comey over for a very evil dinner. They have some evil ceviche, and he sits down and he like asks him for loyalty. He's got like, I want loyalty. It's very shot very beautifully. It's dim, and this is another thing. I actually think about this a lot, and it makes me really mad. If it's like evening time, chances are good that the most evil people in the world are eating a fancy meal. Like, doesn't that just like really, like if it's like 6 to 8 p.m., it's like Stephen Miller is somewhere eating salmon. Ah! Sorry, eats. I do think it's bad that he's been indicted for threatening to kill the president because he arranged some seashells. I think I've seen this happen a lot. It happened around the Kimmel thing, is sort of people going, whoa, this is crazy, are sort of scolded a little bit because there are so many worse and more ghastly things happening. And I think that's a totally legitimate position to have, but I do want to make sure that we're actually giving this the attention. I think the Trump administration does something very sneaky, which is a lot of times it's like big fascism pushes are also the stupidest thing in the world. So, like, I don't think James Comey is going to go to jail for his seashell arrangement. I do think a world in which one cannot criticize the president unless one has the money to pay for a several months long lawsuit is its own form of stifling speech. I think that obviously death and suffering trump this. Sorry. But the fact that the president is like online at night being like, we got to cancel Jimmy Kimmel, get Jimmy Kimmel off the air. That's like, it's weird. It's not just weird. It's bad. It's bad stuff. But in any case, I hope James Comey, is exonerated. I don't know. What is the moral quantity of James Comey? Who cares? It really shows that this is a petty man. This is a way I don't say this anymore, but back in like the early 2010s, I used to talk all the time about how Donald Trump and I were very similar in our emotional instability. And like, this is the idea of being like, you wronged me 9 years ago And now it's time! That's very Alejandro-y. So, that's not good. That's a bad thing. That's bad. I'm bad. I'm bad. Everyone, I'm bad. Okay.